Hello and welcome to today's video. So exactly 366 days ago I uploaded my third sim racing video ever. And before all you controller players start blowing up the comments saying there's 365 days in a year, it's a leap year, dipshit. But anyway, so as you can see from the thumbnail, 30 years on controller versus 30 days on the wheel. And in this video I was actually using a Logitech G915, so I was able to do it on Gran Turismo. I hadn't really got into PC sim racing yet. I'd only had my wheel for 1 month. And Gran Turismo seemed to be like the best game for me to use the wheel and the controller on. And the controller won by 3 seconds. Actually 2.9, but man, I didn't even have my hand controller then. I was pressing the pedals with my right hand and steering with my left. And it was pretty hard, but I made it work. So, 1 year later, now we have a Fanatec direct drive wheel. Many hours of practice. We're going to try again. So the original idea was to just do 3 laps with each to get a feel for the car, and then we put in the fastest time. But on the third lap of the controller laps, I was thinking to myself, man, I can go faster than this. And if I do a fourth, I'll do it with a wheel as well. So I went again. So the first lap with the controller was 7:11.5, and I got this 7:15 and then a 7:10. Obviously this is my best laps with the controller and the wheel on screen. So I actually did 4 laps with the wheel as well, and on one of them I crashed. So they both had like 3.5 laps each, and neither of these laps are perfect. I'm using the Apex M4, which is pretty good. It's a little bit loose, but it's a decent mod. The worst thing is, I've been playing in VR all the time, and when I'm really like trying to race hard, if I'm racing on the screen, I have to do it on hood view if I want to be like really fast. I got so used to being in VR, and now just being inside the car on the screen just doesn't feel the same. You just can't beat VR. But we can clearly see the wheel is in front. But you can also tell I'm not doing bad on the controller. So it isn't like, you know, the wheel is at a massive advantage. Whereas in the previous video, the controller was at a massive advantage. We're playing Gran Turismo 7, which is basically made for controllers. I hadn't had any practice on the wheel. I'm braking and accelerating with my hands, which I guess I'm still doing that, but it's a lot more convenient because I can still have my right hand on the wheel, even though it's braking and accelerating. I still do 95% of my steering with just my left hand, but I've had 13 months worth of practice now. Naturally I'm going to be a lot better at it. One other thing I found as well while recording the lap was the controller like kind of puts you to sleep. After you get used to being on the wheel and having to like focus up and concentrate on your inputs a lot more, and you know, just actually using more energy and handling the wheel, when you just sat on the controller, like you can even see like by the end my head is like to the side, I'm kind of falling asleep. The wheel is so much more engaging. It's probably daft of me to say because it's quite obvious that it is, but it is. I'm more saying it for people who are considering buying a wheel and you're watching this video to see, is it worth me upgrading to a wheel from my controller? Most definitely. You'll have way more fun. Looking at this, the wheel is in front, so you're going to improve your lap times. Don't get me wrong, there's some people out there who are crazy good on controllers, and this isn't my best wheel lap, but it's enough to put me in front of the controller. But we're not at the end yet, and I tried to keep everything on this channel genuine and honest as possible. If the controller would have won, I'll say the controller's won at the end. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that the wheel's won for the purpose of saying that the wheel's won, because the wheel is more fun. Well, there we go, that last corner. I think we can gauge who's going to win. So 704 for the wheel, 707 for the controller, which is actually roughly the same amount of time between the controller and the wheel on the previous video. But as a little twist, as I mentioned halfway through the lap, VR is now king, 701.6, and this was after 2 laps. If I would have spent the time to do the extra 2 laps, so you know, the wheel and the controller had 4 laps each, if I would have done 2 more laps in VR, I would have probably been less than 7 minutes. But I'd sat there and done 4 laps with the wheel, 4 laps with the controller, and then 2 laps with the VR. And then like some messing around in between, a couple of laps where I crashed, so I started again. You know, it was multiple laps, and by this point I was like, oh no, 2 laps with the VR is enough. We can clearly see that. VR wins. So there we go. Controller players, go buy a wheel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. And until next time, bye!